Our next guest is leading a group of 10 lawmakers to the border and saw firsthand what's happening there. Joining me now, Louisiana Congressman and Minority Whip Steve Scalise. Congressman, good morning and great to see you. You are one of the representatives that has traveled there. Tell us what you are seeing with your own eyes.
Well, Jackie, good morning. Good to be with you. Let me first send my condolences to the royal family on the loss of Prince Philip. I know we've got such a great partnership between our two countries. But now, if you look at what's happening on the southern border, we've been seeing these reports for months, and more members are going down to the border to bring awareness to what really is going on. Last night, I spent a number of hours with Border Patrol agents. About 10 of my colleagues were there. We asked a lot of questions, but we saw some very alarming things. Somewhere around midnight, we went out to one of the processing facilities where they come in right by the Rio Grande River. And we were there less than an hour and saw dozens of people coming across the border, knowing that the door is wide open because of President Biden's new policy. This is something that President Biden created. He got rid of the stay in Mexico, the remain in Mexico policy. It was a highly effective tool President Trump used to work with Mexico to keep people seeking asylum on the other side of the border in Mexico while they make those requests. Most of them are denied, by the way. But what's happening now is because they can just walk right across the border, if they've got young children, and by the way, we saw just scores and scores of young children, and I'm talking months old, maybe just a few years old, the sexual assaults, the things that are happening to these kids on the journey, it's not only heartbreaking, it's criminal, and it's totally preventable. And this is something that we are going to continue to go and explore today. We're going to go to the Donna detention facility. They say now there's over 4,000 people crammed into that facility. That's maybe a setup for about 100 people. Mm-hmm. And we're in the middle of a pandemic where they're telling you can't go to a lot of your places of business. Yes. Restaurants can't even have 25% capacity, but they've got over 4,000 people in a facility that's established for maybe around 100. It's inhumane conditions that President Biden has created. And Vice President Kamala Harris, by the way, who we put in charge, won't even come down and see this. It's so bad she doesn't want to be associated with it, yet she's the person in charge of it on behalf of the Biden-Harris administration. It's inexcusable.
And it's interesting because you point to another issue with respect to COVID, hypocrisy, right, where the administration is saying, we need to slow down. We can't open up this country any faster. There's a serious problem here, and we need to proceed with caution. Yet at the same time, you've got this human rights issue down at the border with the children, and they're packing them into these facilities like sardines. They've sent a message out saying, don't come or don't come now. But obviously, nobody is taking it seriously because you're seeing firsthand what backs up the data that we were just talking about. And I'll just finish this by saying it is costing American taxpayers $60 million a week to house these children.
Absolutely. There's a humanitarian cost that's devastating, and there is a physical cost in dollars, as you point out. And there's no plan for what to do with these people once they come across the border. The families that are coming across know that if you bring a young child, you're getting a free ticket into America. President Biden has sent the message that America's border is wide open, and they're heeding the call. And it's not just from South and Central American countries. At the Donna detention facility that we're going to go see in McAllen this morning, there's over 50 countries represented in that facility, with people coming, all of you saw in Yemen, some people on the terrorist watch list. Again, there's numbers of people on the terrorist watch list that we know about. The Biden administration is trying to conceal that information from the public, from the press, even from members of Congress, when we've asked very specific questions of how many people on the terrorist watch list have come over. Because, look, the drug cartels are running this southern border right now.
Well, and that is who is reaping the benefit here,
agents,
lining their pockets.
They're making millions of dollars a week, $15 million a day. The drug cartels of Mexico are making off of this smuggling trade, knowing that America's border's open. They're the ones running people into the border. So when you have the drug cartels running America's southern border from Mexico, it is a national crisis. It's a scandal that was completely created by President Biden's actions. He can reverse it, by the way. We're calling on President Biden to come down and see this for himself. Don't farm it out to Kamala Harris, who won't come see it for herself. But he needs to reverse the policy. He created this. He can end it.
Well, it's another example of the hypocrisy. We're going to say one thing, we're going to do another. We're going to appoint Kamala Harris. She's never going to go down there. She's not even really going to address the issue publicly. She really hasn't spoken about it, to my knowledge. And then you've got her saying that, you know, her plan is all about addressing the root causes instead of trying to stop what's happening right now.
Everybody knows what the root cause is. The Border Patrol agents will tell you the root cause is President Biden's actions, getting rid of the Remain in Mexico policy, sending out the alarm bells that you can come here, we're going to let you into America. Maybe years from now, you might get a hearing. And in the meantime, you have free reign over the country when they're telling people that are American citizens they can't go to their schools still.
Right.
They can't go to their school. But you've got people just strolling across the border with COVID. And they'll tell you in many cases at these detention facilities where they're cramming people in, they're spreading it to everybody. And then they're putting them on an airplane and sending them to other parts of America.
I just want to turn to infrastructure because I think this is really important. President Biden is going to meet with lawmakers from both sides of the aisle next week to talk about his tax and spending plan. The White House, of course, still banking on bipartisan support for this massive spending package. Congressman, do you think that bipartisan support is possible with some of these details that we're listing here?
Well, there's been bipartisan interest in an infrastructure bill going back to President Trump, who wanted to work an agreement, and Speaker Pelosi never would even start a negotiation. So if they want to negotiate something that's paid for, that's responsible, that's focused on building roads and bridges, there's a lot of interest there. If they want to just raise taxes and spend trillions of dollars on things that have nothing to do with roads and bridges, carrying out the Green New Deal, paying off their union bosses, that's not where we are. Frankly, it's not where America is. And they're tired of the lies like we saw under the Obama administration when they said, hey, we're going to do this stimulus bill that's going to be shovel-ready projects. There were very few shovel-ready projects. It was a massive growth of the federal government in a lot of these bureaucratic agencies. That's not what people want. They don't want to see tax hikes that will slow down our economic recovery from this pandemic. So hopefully the president will work with us. He's yet to do that. He's yet to meet with House or Senate Republican leadership. We've reached out, but it's time that he do that. It's time he focus on this border crisis that he created. It's time he starts working with people, which was a promise he made during the campaign he's yet to fulfill.
Congressman, it's a point that James Freeman has been making all morning. The economy is in good shape and we are recovering. We don't need all of this spending to do it. Congressman Steve Scalise, wonderful to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us and good luck today.
Great being with you, Jackie. Thanks.